Yeah, so good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. For those who don't know me, I'm Ismini Talatis, Head of Account Management, Cloud at Grove. We're proudly part of Integrity 360. As a company of Integrity 360, we're excited to continue offering innovative solutions through our partnership with Acronis and our distributor Altitude Sync. Together, we provide Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud. It's a comprehensive solution that combines backup, archiving, disaster recovery, cybersecurity, as well as endpoint management solutions in one integrated solution to empower organizations globally. So today's webinar, we will be focusing on advanced endpoint security, so EDR, XDR, and we will also focus on Acronis backup. These solutions, of course, go far beyond simple backup, using AI-powered anti-malware to actually scan backups during the creation and retrieval process, and obviously ensuring that your data is protected from even zero-day threats with advanced behavioral analysis. So this session is going to be a first in the series of webinars. So over the next few weeks, we'll be hosting 2 more, focusing on other key Acronis solutions. Before I hand you over to AJ Hartenberg and Jacques Smith, who will be leading today's session, I'd like to remind you that your Uber Eats vouchers will be sent to eligible attendees and valid only for today. We'll also ask if you can please drop any questions that you might have into the Q&A at the bottom and not into the comments box whilst we are talking. And then we'll get straight to your questions after this. So with that said, I'll now pass things over to Jacques Smith from Acronis.
Cool. Thank you very much, Izzy. Really appreciate it. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Looking forward to getting into some deep conversation and some discussions around your cybersecurity, data protection, and management needs. So I suppose we could just get kicked off straight into it. So in the world of cybersecurity, data protection, and endpoint management, things have become very complicated, which is contrary to how the world has started moving. We're all aware that everything's become simpler. The fact that nobody does banking in a physical bank anymore, and those who do, there's a small percentage of us. Then you take a look at how cloud computing has basically taken over from the traditional racking and stacking of tin within a data center. And ultimately, it's the oversimplification of how things are being done now for us in our day-to-day lives. But in realization, we take a look at things that actually matter to us. And in cybersecurity and data protection, things have gone backwards. In essence, everything's become overly complicated. Because if you take a look at 15, 20 years ago, it was as easy as deploying a firewall, creating your backups, cool, job done, data protected. But sadly, things have changed a lot in those 15 to 20 years. And the number one thing is the proliferation of where your technology is and where your data is sitting. So things like IT having moved to the cloud over the last 15 to 20 years. That is yet another place that you need to manage and maintain your data and protect your instances and any of your users that you're sitting with. We also have the volume of data that's being created, the masses of amounts, and we're talking about petabytes on petabytes on petabytes of data that are being created on an annual basis. That in turn is also proliferated through a lot of software or service as a service platform. Everything is now sitting either in a hybrid scenario, half on-prem, half in cloud, or in the cloud. This proliferation of things has started to become very difficult to manage from a IT perspective. And in turn, that has now created another problem, and that's the skill shortage and finding the right people and having the capabilities within your asset pool of staff that you have in order to make all of these solutions do the job that they need to do, but ultimately managing all of this, integrating them somehow, and obviously keeping up to date with how everything is going. Oh, wrong way. So that response, there is plenty, and you can see many of the names and brands up here. And essentially what is happening is that there is just a proliferation of products making your life, whether it is a IT manager, an IT department, managed service provider, or a end user at your endpoint, trying to do these systems for yourself. This has become overly complicated. What we're looking to do is simplify that. Because if we take a look at it, having all of these tools, having all of these vectors by which they can come at you, create its own cybersecurity threat. It also means you have to deal with many different vendor products, means you have many agents on your device, which in turn adds to invoices and. And this is one of the problems that we're seeing in a real world scenario. Now, naturally, everyone goes, well, don't fix it if it isn't broke. And we can say names like Kodak, BlackBerry, Nokia, Motorola. They all went with the philosophy of don't fix it if it ain't broke. We see where they are now. That's very much scenario one. Scenario two is the consolidation play. What can I do to make my life easier and in turn give me a better protection profile in the greater IT space that I need? So a little bit about Acronis. So Acronis has been around for over 20 years. We predominantly started in the backup and imaging space, and we've started transitioning over the many years into a complete data protection. Our philosophy is that you shouldn't single out which workload you need protected. You should want all your workloads protected. But in turn, we need to create something that is going to give you that ease of use, to give you the peace of mind at the end of the day that you are covering everything. And with almost 2,000 employees around globally, of which a big chunk of that is actually in our R&D department. And our R&D department we're very proud of because it allows us to create all of these products that we have in-house. So whether it is our security solution, our management solution, our backup and DR solution, we're very happy to say that this is all in-house. And again, it's part of that consolidation play. We do not rely on anyone else in order to get the job of data protection and cybersecurity done for you. So with us, we've obviously expanded across the whole planet. We currently manage and maintain our own data centers globally, of which they are sitting at 54 data centers, operating here in South Africa, also in Nigeria, and many of the other major continents. And my boss has told me that if Ireland don't win a World Cup sometime in the future, then we get to deploy one in Antarctica. So that'll be a fun trip for all of us. So why is this happening? Why are we going to this extent to trying to consolidate everything into one place? Because of the growing attack surfaces. What that means is that it's creating infrastructure gaps for you guys. If you take a step back and try and picture yourself in a scenario where you're trying to integrate a cybersecurity solution, but then you also need to manage that endpoint, whether it is patch management, things like that. And then you also need to create a backup. That inevitably leads you into at minimum 3 products that you're working with, maybe more, depending on how complex your environments become. But then that would only be for a single OS or a single environment. What about your cloud environment? Are you able to scale to that level and be able to use the same toolset? These are all problems that start creeping in. And naturally, by closing off these problems and creating a ring fence in your defense, a ring fence in your defense in order to protect your environment, you are minimizing those infrastructure gaps, and the solutions that you need will come down because it's all in one place. And in turn, cyber threats have started escalating. And sadly, it's become too easy. And on the other side, it's become extremely lucrative to be a cyber criminal. Things like ransomware as a service, where you could literally go onto the dark net, use a little bit of Bitcoin, and you can buy ransomware solutions. And in turn, they will provide you with a help desk, a support team, a customer care center in order to participate in this underground or dark web environment in order to make money. And this has now created an incentive regime where people are going, well, if it's so easy and it's so lucrative, why isn't everyone doing it? And the reality is everyone is being affected by it. Everyone can say that they've received a phishing email, a phishing SMS, a WhatsApp call, that somebody trying to extract information from you. Again, the process is that these things are becoming too easy to access, and in turn are making the life of IT departments and managed service providers more difficult. So what are we trying to do? By natively integrating everything, you eliminate a lot of the complexity within your environment, whether it be at end user level, SMB IT manager level, or at corporate level. You can eliminate a lot of work that needs to be done that isn't directly related to the protection of your data. That in turn creates a very high efficiency level. That high efficiency level now gets you down to doing the things you want to do in your organization, using your IT teams to optimize your environments and possibly even generate you money, instead of the flip side where they're spending all their time having to manage the tool set just to achieve a SLA. And ultimately, that is what the Acronis Cyber Protect Cloud platform provides you. This is a wholly integrated solution with all of these at a click of a button in order to be integrated easily, so that it eliminates those threats, it makes it highly efficient, and it's by design done this way. It's not bolted on because somebody asked. this is the solution that we are taking to the market. And this is predicated on the fact that the NIST 2.0 cybersecurity framework has started becoming a standard, whether it comes to business liability, cybersecurity insurance. These are things that we needed to take into consideration when we built our platform. And that is the book of truth that we utilize in order to provide you that peace of mind, saying this is not an Acronis standard. This is a global international standard that is put by the National Institute of Standards and Technologies. We've also got proof within the solution that we provided. Not just talk, it's not just a Acronis rating that Acronis is good. What we've done is we've sent our solution out to many third-party and independent reviewers, and they've come back with the positive reviews that we were working for. Those are the reviews that we want to provide so that people can get that peace of mind that our solution, albeit a new solution in the greater scope of many of the security vendors that are out there, is a superior solution when it comes to the fact that it's integrated to make your life easier, but ultimately not remove any of the sophistication of the actual solution that you need at the endpoint. Again, further analysis has been recognized by the likes of Frost & Sullivan, IDC, Gartner, G2. All of these independent reviewers have given us positive thumbs up and showing you that we compete head-to-head with all of the major players within that environment. So a little rundown, mentioned that our cybersecurity solution is relatively new in the greater scope of the world. So we've been working on this since 2014. It's not last week, it's not last year, it's not even in the last decade almost. So we've been putting a lot of work into developing the solution, knowing where the problems are and what are the solutions that needed to be provided ultimately. And that further extends into the current time, where we started launching things like our MDR service, our XDR service, our EDR and endpoint security solution. So whether it was URL filtering, advanced persistent threat defense, zero-day defense, integrating that into our management solution that allows you to keep your systems and software up to date, being able to manage the inventory within your environment to see what is going on so that you can make accurate and up-to-date real-time intelligent actions in order to prevent your environment from suffering from any threats outside. So how do we do it? Again, we're talking about the MSPs, managed service providers, large IT departments, companies that internally would have internal customers that they're providing services to. Again, having it in one place, integrating everything, allowing you that simple ease of use is where the strength and the tool set lies. No longer do you have to spend hours and hours doing management, doing remote control, doing patch upgrades, doing backups, doing security. By tying it all together and having one place to have that maximum visibility, so it gives you the ease of use and ultimately giving you the up-to-date information to make that intelligent decision on how best to further protect your environment. But also extending it down to the security teams and end users in essence. So being able to create a backup that has security built into it only allows your IT teams to develop higher efficiencies, and you can actually get down to paying your IT teams to do the job of increasing the profitability of the company and not becoming a liability or a cost within the business. And that also extends all the way down to the SMB and end user level. Being able to comprehensively secure your entire environment with the minimum amount of effort, and knowing that should a disaster strike, even if it isn't a cyber-related disaster, i.e. your laptop gets stolen, your hard drive fails, you have already got a solution that is an all-in-one solution, providing you the backup, the management, the reporting, the security that you need in order to get on with your day and not have to worry about managing the tool set that you have. And that's it from my side. Quick overview of the entire portfolio. So just to highlight again, we cover end-to-end from a security perspective, whether it's things like email security or data loss prevention protocol, we're able to help you with that. We do the EDR, XDR, MDR solution within our endpoint security. We also have our backup and our disaster recovery solution that is all tied around a core functionality of features that give you the ease of use of the platform, but also give you the intelligence within your environment to make the right decisions and doing it in the easiest way, so that you can rest easy, in essence, on what it is that you need to do from a security and backup perspective. And that's it from my side. So I'll hand it over to AJ now. AJ? You're on mute, AJ. Come now, it's not Friday yet.
I know. let me just go there quickly and we open up my slide deck. And let's see. Hey, Jacques, can everybody see my slide deck?
That is a yebo yes.
Okay, excellent. So let me start off by saying, so the most obvious question is, well, why should I actually protect my data? And from our perspective, we've worked very closely with a lot of our partners to enable them to, I want to say, absorb and use the platform for their clients more effectively. One such use case is where backup was not enough. Was we had a partner who had a client who was using the Acronis data backup for their workstations, for their servers, for their applications. They were backing up SQL Server. They were backing up all the different elements within the environment. This was a financial institution, and they then suffered a breach. They had a security vendor A who has got a great reputation in the South African market space. They're an SME, and this applies to both SMEs and corporates, but this one is a financial institution from an SME space perspective in terms of the amount of servers and workstations that they had. And they had another vendor doing their processes from making sure that their backups were taken offsite and the ability to be able to bring them up in another space. What happened? They suffered a huge breach in their environment due to certain protocols that weren't being followed, certain processes that weren't being followed. And it ended up where they said, well, we need to recover. Fortunately, we could recover. Yes, we had to go through, we walked the IT partner through the recovery process as a cloud aggregator and as a distributor. We said to them, this is the processes that they needed to follow. They then applied that processes, and literally as they were busy recovering, they were able to do that. Why is recovery so important? Because you need to be able to say, well, how do I get my business back up and running? And your focus is on your business, your daily operations, being able to talk to your clients and to ensure that you are able to communicate and do the most essential part of your business, and that's generate income. I bring up the NIST 2.0 framework. One was processes was key for them. There were certain processes that wasn't being followed. So from a governance perspective, because they're financial institutions, certain things were not being managed by the other vendor that had the processes and their own internal IT department. Secondly, there was no assessment of the actual overall risk from a security perspective. And even they had auditors that were doing certain things in their space at that particular point in time. The key thing about NIST 2.0 is not just the governance, not just the identity, not the ability, but also to detect and respond, and then the ability to recover from it. So why am I focusing only on SMEs? Because we've always thought that large-scale attacks or IT attacks or vulnerability attacks were always focused on the enterprise space. You know, your large financial institutions in the country, you had various other things that was going on and various other solutions, and people were saying, well, I need to protect my business. How do I protect it if I'm a large corporate? And we never thought it would actually happen in the SME space. We're seeing a lot more growing attacks happening in South Africa with SMEs. I just had one of my other partners phone me this morning and said, hey, listen, one of my customers had just had attack. They didn't want to take backup from us. They didn't want to take security from us. How do we help them? And I said, well, the best way to actually do it is to ensure that you actually have the tools from an Acronis perspective, which integrates both your security, covers your security and your backup. So when your partner like Grove has the ability to protect you and use the Acronis platform to protect you, these are the different things that you are covered from an overall solution perspective. Key thing about Acronis Cyber Protect is also the ability that backup talks to security. And when you're taking a backup, you can, when you're doing patch upgrades, when you're doing, you have a breach at what a file has been hacked and you need to recover, Acronis will tell the partner, will tell Grove, hey, the Grove engineers or your own internal staff, hey, listen, there is a breach that's happened. This file has been attacked. This is a zero-day attack. Do you want to recover this file from backup? Or do you want to recover it from the actual system itself? And it will allow you to be able to do that. And security, the part where security talks to backup is in the event that files, you're not using the advanced security plus EDR or XDR from Acronis, you can then, and you're backing up the files, and that files has got malware in them or has been breached or ransomware in them, what effectively Acronis will clear out the file before restoring and actually recover a clean file for you in that vein. Same thing with patch management. Before it does any patch management, Acronis will allow you to back up the data and your systems before actually doing patch management, and then give you that ability to recover if a patch fails. And we've seen some of that happening in the market space. So what did the client actually do? They still kept their Acronis backup solution, but they added the advanced security plus EDR as well as data loss prevention to be able to track and see, okay, who's actually accessing the files or the data? How do we recover some, and who is allowed to be able to access certain files within the organization? Second thing that they did is they allowed, they said to the Acronis partner, please establish additional processes for us from an integration perspective so that we can actually see what's happening on a daily basis. And that was one of the things that they then secured him additional business with the client. So why a consolidated approach from Acronis? The key thing about the Acronis platform is that it gives you peace of mind that everything from a data protection perspective is taken care of. When you ask, well, can Acronis do this? What about hardware inventory? Can I recover to any hardware? Can I protect myself against any vulnerabilities? What are the things that are key from a IT partner or a managed services provider or a managed security service provider? How do they allow me to be able to protect my data within the organization? And so that gives you the peace of mind to focus on your business, protecting your clients, looking after your clients without having to wonder, is my IT system going to go down? Is the system, my laptop, going to be breached? Am I going to be held to ransom and where I'm going to have to pay out money to be able to get my data back? And there are many such incidents that I've come across literally in the last 3 months, where clients have had to pay out huge sums of money, SMEs, between anything from $1,500 to up to 2 million rand, just to be able to say, well, you can get your data back, but if you pay me X. And I'm going to end my story right there, because I think when you look at the Acronis journey and the Acronis platform, Grove in themselves have taken this on because they've realized we need to be able to protect all our clients' data. And the only way we can do that is by having a consolidated approach from a solution perspective. Any questions?
Yeah, if you all have any questions, if you can just hang it on the Q&A at the bottom. Thanks, AJ. Thanks, Marcus.
Pleasure, Izzy. Thank you very much. Any questions? Yeah. Everybody know what we're talking about? It's great. Integration is key. Like I was saying earlier, AJ, the fact that everything is integrated in our normal day life is why we like having a mobile phone with my credit cards on, it's got my banking on, it's got everything is on your phone nowadays. And people find that convenient, but it's only convenient if it works. And that's, I think, one of the key factors, having so many tools, having so many things all over the place. I mean, we were just touching on a handful of the sort of features and functionalities. But when it comes to security, you don't want to miss anything. And that's the scary
Absolutely.
part about it. You want to be able to tie all this up, but ultimately, if something goes wrong, how do we fix it? How do we get up and running?
Absolutely.
It reminds me of a story that we were working on with one of our customers, where they were telling us they had an RPO and an RTO of 6 hours for their data, and we're talking about a big multinational here. So being able to access their data in case anything happened, and let's be honest, we don't know what's going to happen from a physical perspective. Your laptop gets stolen, your hard drive fails. By the way, we have predictive hard drive failure
Yes.
monitoring within the platform. So something like
Absolutely.
that isn't cyber security related, but is physical data loss related, is just
Yes.
another section or another quiver in the bow of the
Absolutely.
tool set that we can provide. But these are all real
Absolutely.
world problems, and being able to go,
Yeah.
okay, it's great, I can stop a threat. But then how
Yes.
do you get back up and running? It's one thing to
Yes.
say, yeah, cool, I've stopped the virus. Oh, yeah, the
Yes.
0 day hit me, but we were covered.
Yes.
But if there
Yes.
was something that happened that is a 0 day, and again,
Yes.
0 day is by definition, nobody's ever seen it before. How do you know
Yeah.
something is going to stop it? How is that
Absolutely.
disaster going to affect you from a monetary perspective? Because I know
Absolutely.
from a personal perspective, I can't afford to be away from my emails for long periods of time because there are so many people that you're collaborating with, so many people that you're organizing with. And it's not a physical
Absolutely.
monetary thing. Now we start talking about reputation. People become accustomed
Absolutely.
to you responding accurately, but ultimately
Yes.
responding in a reasonable time. What if I can't send that email? So it's a reputational thing. And if that email is a sales email, now it's a revenue problem. Then my boss looks at me and goes, well, you didn't hit your number because, and you go,
Yes.
my computer was down. Now
Yes.
we can fix that entire solution for you by giving you that really quick uptime, but ultimately protecting you from those threats because of our artificial intelligence and machine learning engines that are built into the platform. You can quite easily turn these on, and then it goes down to the APT and 0 day threat. We're one of the
Absolutely.
few solutions at a global level that are prepared, and we comment about it, that we can prevent these things because we're
Absolutely.
integrated and we can do the remediation. So our
Yeah.
solution is taking a look at the front line of defense, but defense always has to be in layers. Nobody
Absolutely.
relies on just having an electric fence to look after their house. They have an electric
Absolutely.
fence, they have a dog, they have a security guard, they've got an alarm system. But wouldn't it be great if one company provided all of that for you? Maybe not the dog, but
Yeah.
that's ultimately what we're trying to provide, that ease of
Yeah.
use that gives you the peace of mind to carry on doing what you need to do. Because a lot of us are not
Absolutely.
cybersecurity specialists. A lot of us
No,
are not
absolutely.
IT specialists. Our
No,
purpose in the
absolutely.
world is I need a laptop that sends emails and writes proposals. Go.
Yeah.
What do I know about
Yeah.
IT? Don't have to know anything
Absolutely.
because all we do
Yeah.
is deploy the agent, turn on the services, and ultimately you are covered to know that you've got
And
that peace of mind.
absolutely. And I think one of the key things that the advanced security component also does have, and which I haven't mentioned, is the ability that a lot of hackers have, they detect, oh, which security agents do you have on your devices? And Acronis has what is known as self-protection enabled on it. And so it will protect the agent itself from being deleted or being hacked on the actual device. That being said, it then also detects that if a crypto mining exercise happens on a particular device, where it starts to encrypt the first file, second file, and all of a sudden Acronis realizes, hey, listen, you are trying to encrypt the entire hard drive of this actual laptop or server or any device. I'm going to roll back this and actually quarantine this agent and go and check in cache. If it can't find the actual recovery ability within cache, because the file has already been wiped out of cache, it will tell the managed service provider and the person that's actually doing the operational elements, hey, listen, you can recover this specific file from backup because it is on the backup. And so when you combine backup with security, you have that integration and that ease of use and that peace of mind to say, hey, listen, I can recover this file because
Yep.
it's a one-click recovery. And
Exactly.
the delving into where the problem is, or the delving into, which files do I now need to recover? Acronis recognizes the files that needs to be recovered and which files have actually been affected. And so it automatically tells you, hey, I need to go to the backup. Let me restore these files from the backup. And when you have those backups, the key thing you want is, it's not about the fact that I have a backup. It's the ability to recover from a backup. And our
Worst case
partner,
scenario. Yep.
absolutely, and our partner in that space was able to recover all the data that they had backed up for that particular client on the workstations that they had, on the servers. Every single workstation was backup. They had image backups. They had incremental backups, and all the data that was backed up, they had the ability to recover all of that. And that's what you want. You want the ability to know, okay, if I have a breach today, can I recover? And do I have the tool set that says, can I prevent the breach? Can I prevent the recovery component? And that's part of it. Any questions?
No, doesn't look like we're getting any questions. No.
Okay. Izzy, you're on mute.
Oops. Sorry, guys. As mentioned, there will be a second webinar coming soon. So excited to share that with you guys soon. And yeah, we just want to thank everybody again for joining us. And we definitely will be in touch with you all after this. And if there's obviously an interest where you'd like to chat to us more about your requirements, we can definitely do some follow-up one-on-one sessions, which we're looking forward to. But yeah, thank you, AJ, and thank you, Jacques, so much. It was all very, very informative. And yeah, especially some of the words that what you mentioned at the end of the webinar in terms of the certain scenarios and how we, how Acronis can protect those disasters from happening, and what can do in terms of recovering if a disaster like that should hit. So yeah, thanks so much, guys, and we will chat to you soon. Those Uber Eats vouchers soon. All right, just once again, please use it today.
We'll do, Izzy. I'm on it.